Welcome to Monk's Moon Temple. Find a space where you can settle in. Maybe you're curled up in bed, the day's final light fading from the walls. Perhaps you're on a long drive, the highway humming beneath you, or sitting in a quiet corner of a café as the world moves outside the window. Wherever you are, you've arrived here carrying the weight of a world that rarely bends to your will. The missed connection, the plan that dissolved, the word that landed wrong, the silence where you hoped for an answer. That tightness in your chest isn't a flaw. It's a signal. A signal that somewhere inside, you are at war with what is. For the next while, we are not going to wage that war. Instead, we'll explore the terrain of surrender, not to defeat, but to truth. We'll learn to lay down the arms of our resistance and discover a peace that doesn't require the world to be peaceful first. So, let your eyes grow soft. Let the sounds around you become just another part of the landscape, not a distraction. And let's begin with a story from a place where the sun sets over a different sea. High on the caldera cliffs of Santorini, there is a small, family-run café with 3 tables and a view that steals your breath. A woman named Eleni runs it. One evening, a couple was seated at the best table, celebrating an anniversary they'd saved years for. They had envisioned a perfect sunset, a photograph to capture the golden hour draped over the white buildings and blue dome. But as the sun began its descent, a bank of thick, unforecast fog rolled in from the Aegean. It swallowed the island whole. The breathtaking view became a wall of soft, impenetrable gray. The couple was devastated. The man grew angry, checking his phone's weather app repeatedly as if it could command the fog away. The woman looked heartbroken, on the verge of tears. Their perfect moment was ruined. Eleni watched this from behind her counter. She didn't offer false cheer. Instead, she brought them 2 small glasses of Sapporo, the local spirit, on the house. She placed them quietly on the table and said, "The fog is a guest, too. It doesn't know about anniversaries. But if you listen, it has its own music." Then she did something simple. She turned off the soft ambient music in the café. In the sudden quiet, the world changed. They could hear what was hidden before, the gentle, rhythmic sigh of the sea far below, magnified and mysterious in the fog. The distant, lonely call of a single bell buoy. The intimate sound of their own breathing, mingling. The fog created a cocoon of sound, a private universe just for them. Tentatively, they put their phones down. They listened. They sipped the strong drink. And they began to talk. Not about the lost photo, but about the 10 years that had led them here, the struggles and joys lost in the rush of daily life. Their conversation grew deeper, more real, in that veil of gray. The evening transformed from a failed postcard into a profound, intimate memory. The peace they found wasn't in the sunset they demanded, but in the unexpected, hushed beauty that actually arrived. If this idea of finding beauty in the unplanned speaks to you, consider subscribing to Monk's Moon Temple. Your support allows us to weave more of these stories and create a sanctuary of shared understanding. Now, let's begin our exploration. What Eleni understood, and what she offered that couple, is the foundational truth we'll explore. Every difficult moment in life contains 2 distinct layers. The first layer is the bare fact. The raw event. The fog rolling in. The missed train. The difficult diagnosis. The harsh word. This is pain. It is sensation, circumstance, event. It is neutral in a strange way, it simply is. Like a rock in a stream, it is a fact of the landscape. The second layer is everything we add on top. This is suffering. This is our commentary, our protest, our horror movie soundtrack. This shouldn't be happening. This ruins everything. What does this mean about me? About my future? This is where we clench our fists, tighten our jaws, and spin elaborate stories of catastrophe. This layer is optional. It is manufactured by our own minds in resistance to the first layer. Think of it like touching a hot stove. The searing heat on your skin is the first layer, the pain. It's immediate, biological, undeniable. The suffering is what follows, you idiot. Why weren't you paying attention? Now you'll have a blister for days. This is going to ruin your vacation. The suffering is the frantic, self-lacerating narrative. The pain lasts seconds. The suffering can last for hours. Our work is not to eliminate the first layer. We are human in a fragile, unpredictable world. Pain is inevitable. Our work is to see the second layer clearly, to recognize when we are the directors, screenwriters, and frantic audiences of our own unnecessary drama. And then, with great kindness, to turn off the projector. Why do we create this second layer? It stems from a beautiful, human function gone awry, planning. We are natural architects. Every morning, our mind begins drafting a blueprint for the day. It's a sketch of how things should flow, the smooth commute, the productive meeting, the pleasant interactions, the timely completion of tasks. This blueprint is based on past experiences, hopes, and fears. There's nothing wrong with the blueprint. It helps us navigate. The problem arises when we mistake the flimsy paper of our plan for the immutable laws of physics. We fall in love with our drawing. We become attached to it as the one and only acceptable reality. Then, life, the master builder, shows up with different materials. It brings rain to our sketched picnic, a closed road to our mapped route, a human error to our flawless sequence. And instead of looking at the new materials and adjusting our design, we do something absurd. We hold up our trembling piece of paper to the construction site and yell, "You are wrong. Build this." This is the birth of our argument. The suffering layer is the sound of our outrage that the universe is not complying with our personal, hastily drawn blueprint. We are like a chef who has written a perfect recipe for bouillabaisse, only to find the market has no fish today, only hearty root vegetables. The suffering chef curses the market, mourns the lost bouillabaisse, and declares the day ruined. The peaceful chef puts the recipe aside, looks at the turnips and potatoes, and begins to imagine a wonderful stew. In the old city of Bern, Switzerland, there is a clockmaker named Klaus who restores antique timepieces. His workshop is a cave of quiet ticking. I visited him once, burdened by my own impatience with a project that refused to conform to my timeline. I watched him for an hour as he worked on an ornate 18th century pocket watch. A tiny spring, no larger than an eyelash, had lost its tension. With immense magnifying lenses strapped to his head, he used tweezers finer than a needle to adjust it. Test the balance. Adjust again. It was a dance of infinite patience. I finally asked, "How can you stand such slow, meticulous work? Doesn't the slowness frustrate you?" He put down his tools and looked at me, his eyes old and kind behind the thick glass. "Young friend," he said, "the watch is not slow. It is broken. My job is not to argue with its brokenness or to hurry its healing. My job is to be in harmony with its mechanism. To listen to its faulty tick and understand what it needs to find its true rhythm again. If I bring my frustration in here," he tapped his temple, "I cannot hear the watch. I only hear my own rushing. And then I break it forever." He went back to work. I sat in the ticking silence, my own internal rush suddenly exposed as a clumsy, destructive force. Klaus wasn't just fixing watches, he was embodying a principle. He was in a relationship with reality, the reality of the broken spring, not a war. Peace, he showed me, is the quiet space where you stop shouting your demands and start listening to what actually is. This argument isn't just in our heads. It takes up residence in our bodies. It manifests as a clench. A silent, physical revolt. Scan your body right now. Is your jaw resting easily, or are your teeth lightly together? Are your shoulders floating near your ears, braced for impact? Is your belly held tight? Is your tongue pressed to the roof of your mouth? These are not random tensions. They are the body's ancient preparation for battle. But what battle? There is no lion in the room. The battle is with a thought, a memory, a fear about tomorrow. This clenching is the body believing the mind's catastrophic story. It is mobilizing resources to fight a phantom. And this mobilization is exhausting. It drains our energy, clouds our thinking, and primes us for irritation. Much of the deep fatigue we feel at the end of a hard day isn't from the work itself, it's from the unseen, constant labor of clenching against a reality we haven't accepted. The first, most practical step toward peace is to become a cartographer of your own clenching. Throughout the day, set gentle bells of awareness. Pause and ask, where am I holding on? Don't judge it. Don't command yourself to relax. Just notice. Ah. My right shoulder is up by my ear. Interesting. This simple, non-judgmental noticing is revolutionary. The part of you that can notice the clench is not the part that is clenched. It is a wider, quieter awareness. Every time you notice, you step out of the battlefield and into the watchtower. The practice of, and this also. Here is a small, powerful tool you can carry in your pocket for the rest of your life. When you encounter something difficult, a delay, a criticism, a pain, a disappointment, instead of launching the argument, no. Not this, try softly saying to yourself. And this also. The traffic is terrible. And this also. The news is not what you hoped. And this also. A wave of loneliness washes over you. And this also. This phrase is not approval. It is not spiritual bypassing. It is acknowledgement. It is the act of opening the door and allowing the guest, even the unwelcome one, to enter the room of your present moment. By acknowledging its presence, you prevent it from taking up all the space. You create context. The traffic is here, and the sky is still above you. The bad news is here, and your next breath is still available. The loneliness is here, and the chair still supports your weight. You are not denying the difficulty. You are placing it within the vast, ongoing continuum of your experience. This robs it of its power to become the entire universe. It becomes a weather pattern in the sky of your day, not the sky itself. In the backwaters of Kerala, India, life moves at the pace of water. I once watched an old man mending a massive fishing net on the shore. The net was torn in several places, a ragged map of hard use. He didn't sigh or curse the damage. He didn't rush. He sat in the shade of a palm tree, his gnarled fingers moving with a rhythm that seemed learned from the lapping waves. Loop, pull, tie. Loop, pull, tie. I asked him how he stayed so patient with such a tedious repair. He smiled, his eyes crinkling. The net is not my enemy, he said. The sea gives, and the sea takes. The tear is just the sea speaking. My job is to listen with my hands and answer with the thread. If I am angry at the tear, my knots are angry. They are tight and weak. If I am friends with the tear, my knots are strong. They hold. He went back to his work, a picture of serene focus. His entire philosophy was in his hands. He wasn't fighting the reality of the torn net. He was in a cooperative relationship with it. The tear was the present fact, his mending was the skillful, peaceful response. He taught me that our wounds, our setbacks, our broken plans, they are not adversaries to be raged against. They are simply places where the thread of our life has frayed. And our peaceful, attentive mending is what makes the whole net strong again, capable of holding whatever the sea brings next. We often live as if we are cartographers who have drawn the one true map of our life's journey. We have the route highlighted, the rest stops noted, the estimated time of arrival circled in red. We believe if we just follow our map with enough determination, we will arrive at the destination of happiness, or success, or peace. But life is not a static map. It is a river. And you are not holding the map, you are in the boat. You have oars. You can steer. You can read the currents and avoid the obvious rocks. These are your intentions, your values, your efforts, they matter immensely. But you do not control the river. You cannot command the weather upstream that swells the banks. You cannot prevent the fallen tree that blocks a channel. The river has its own intelligence, its own pace, its own direction. Our suffering is the tantrum of the cartographer stranded in the boat, screaming at the water for not matching the lines on his paper. He shakes his map at the rapids. He tries to row directly against the current to get back to a bend he already passed. He exhausts himself fighting the fundamental nature of the medium he's in. Peace begins the moment the cartographer drops the soggy, useless map. He looks around. He feels the current. He learns its flow. He uses his oars not to fight the river, but to navigate within it. He discovers that while he can't control the river's destination, he can move with grace, avoid capsizing, and even find moments of serene floating. His destination is no longer a point on a chart, it becomes the quality of his journey on the water. He trades the frustration of unmet plans for the adventure of real navigation. On the island of Murano, famed for its glass, I watched a master glassblower named Luca at his furnace. He was crafting a vase. The molten glass, a glowing, honey-like orb on the end of his blowpipe, was alive with heat and potential. He had a form in mind, but the glass, in its liquid state, had its own will. A bubble threatened to form where he didn't want it. The stem began to lean slightly. A novice might have forced it, wrestling the pliable material into submission, often resulting in a tense, flawed piece that would crack as it cooled. Luca did not fight. He observed the lean. He rotated the pipe, added a touch of heat here, a gentle pressure there. He worked with the glass's tendency, guiding the lean into an elegant, deliberate curve. The unintended bubble became a captured, shimmering sphere within the vase's base, a surprise gift of light. He said to me later, "The glass is your partner. If you fight it, you get struggle and weakness. If you listen to it, to its heat, its weight, its flow, you get a conversation. And the piece that emerges from a conversation is always stronger, always more interesting, than the one you dictated alone." Our lives are that molten glass. Our rigid expectations are the dictator's plan. The peaceful, creative life is the one born from a respectful, attentive conversation with the ever-changing material of the present moment. Much of the static in our minds, the source of our clenching, comes from one small, heavy word, should. I should be further along by now. They should have known how that would make me feel. This shouldn't be so hard. My body shouldn't ache. The world should be fairer. Each should is a tiny bar of iron. We forge them in the smithy of our disappointment. One by one, we collect them. Without noticing, we begin to build a cage around our own heart. A cage of resentment, bitterness, and alienation. And the most painful truth of this cage: we are both the prisoner and the blacksmith. We are locking ourselves in with our own insistence that reality conform to our personal manual of operations. Take a quiet inventory. Listen to your inner dialogue for a day. How many shoulds and shouldn'ts do you issue? To yourself? To others? To life itself? Don't judge them. Just collect them like curious artifacts. Each one you notice is a bar you've just identified. And in the space of that noticing, you have already begun to dissolve it. The bar only exists as long as you are blindly forging it. When you see it clearly, it loses its substance. It becomes just a thought, not a law. When we are trapped in the cage of should, what we are desperately lacking is patience. But we misunderstand patience. We think it is a grim virtue, a teeth-gritting endurance of something unpleasant. That is not patience, that is suppressed resentment. That is the cartographer, trapped in the boat, silently fuming as the river carries him off his mapped course. True patience is not passive. It is active space-making. It is the conscious creation of room for things to be as they are, to unfold at their own pace. It is the gardener who does not pull on the seedling to make it grow faster, but who provides water, sun, and protection, and then trusts the process inherent in the seed. Impatience is a form of violence we commit against time. It is the attempt to cram a process into a container that is too small for it. You cannot cram the healing of a heart into a weekend. You cannot cram the mastery of a skill into a month. You cannot cram the natural unfolding of a life into the timeline of your neighbor's highlight reel. Patience is the deep, ecological understanding of seasons. You do not begrudge the apple tree for its barren winter branches. You know they are a necessary part of the cycle that leads to the blossom and the fruit. Apply that same wisdom to your own inner seasons. Your period of confusion is not a mistake, it is your winter. Your time of slow growth is not failure, it is your gathering of roots. Patience is the faith that you, too, are a natural being, subject to natural cycles, and that forcing summer in December only leads to exhaustion. In the Osa Peninsula of Costa Rica, a guide named Mateo took me into the rainforest to see scarlet macaws. I wanted the perfect photo, the brilliant red against emerald green. We stood quietly for a long time. I grew restless. Where are they? I whispered impatiently. Mateo put a finger to his lips. He pointed not to the sky, but to the forest floor. He mouthed, "Watch." A large, iridescent blue butterfly, a morpho, was flapping lazily in a shaft of light. A troop of coatis snuffled through the leaf litter. A line of leafcutter ants carried their green banners along a fallen log. The forest was pulsating with life, but I was missing it all because my eyes were locked on the empty space where I expected a macaw to be. Finally, after what felt like an hour, a pair of macaws shrieked and landed in a distant tree. The photo was terrible. They were small, backlit, partly hidden. But it didn't matter. In the forced patience of waiting, my awareness had widened. I had seen the butterflies dance, the coatis' busyness, the ants' industry. The macaws were the exclamation point, but the sentence was written in the rich, detailed life of the waiting itself. Mateo smiled. "The forest gives what it gives," he said. "Your job is to receive, not to demand." My impatience had been a form of blindness. Patience was the act of opening my eyes to the gift already being offered. The people who irritate us most are our most unexpected teachers. They hold up a mirror to parts of ourselves we'd rather not see. When someone's stubbornness triggers your fury, look inward. Where are you being stubborn in your own life, refusing to flow with a circumstance? When someone's neediness drains you, ask, what part of you feels unseen and needy, begging for your own attention? When someone's criticism stings, investigate, is there a chorus of self-criticism already singing in your own mind that their voice simply joined? This doesn't mean the other person's behavior is acceptable. It doesn't absolve them of responsibility. Boundaries are still essential. But it means you reclaim your power. You are no longer a passive victim of their actions. You become a curious student of your own reactions. The trigger is not about them, it's about the dormant charge within you that they've accidentally stepped on. The person who seems lazy might be mirroring your own fear of inadequacy when you're not productive. The person who is aggressively confident might be pointing to your own hidden insecurities. Instead of reacting with blame, you can pause and thank them, silently, for the clue. Ah, this irritation is showing me where I am not at peace with myself. This transforms conflict into awakening. One of the heaviest blueprints we carry is the one titled, "The Way Things Were." We cling to a past version of our relationships, our health, our career, our self. We use it as a measuring stick for the present, and the present always seems to come up short. This is like holding on to a lifeline attached to a ship that has already sailed. You're not on the ship, you're just treading water, clinging to a rope that leads nowhere, exhausting yourself. The past is not a home you can return to. It is a country that no longer exists. You can visit it in memory, with respect and tenderness, but you cannot live there. Your life force is needed here, now, to build a shelter on the shore where you've actually landed. This is not betrayal. It is fidelity to life, which moves in one direction. Grief is the natural, loving process of turning to face that ship on the horizon, waving goodbye, and then, when you're ready, letting the rope slip from your hands. It sinks. You are free. Free to look around at your actual surroundings, this new, unfamiliar, present moment shore. And begin the work of seeing what resources you have, what beauty exists here, what new kind of dwelling you might build. In the city of Mostar, Bosnia and Herzegovina, the iconic Stari Most Bridge, a 16th-century Ottoman masterpiece, was destroyed during the war in the 1990s. It was not just a bridge, it was the heart of the city, connecting communities. For years after the war, the space where it once stood was a gaping wound, a literal and symbolic chasm of loss. People would come to the riverbanks and stare at the emptiness, mourning not just the stone, but the unity it represented. There was an overwhelming should. The bridge should still be there. This shouldn't have happened. The suffering was palpable. Then, a decision was made. Using the original techniques and as much of the recovered stone as possible, they would rebuild it. Not a modern replacement, but a meticulous reconstruction. It took years. Stonemasons worked with ancient tools, piecing history back together. When the new old bridge was finally opened, the ceremony was not a celebration of erasing the past. It was an act of profound acceptance. The loss was accepted. The wound was accepted. And from that clear-eyed acceptance, a new action arose, not to live forever in the painful gap, but to patiently, skillfully build a new connection over it. The bridge today is both old and new. It bears the scars and the renewal. It stands as a physical testament to a profound spiritual truth: we cannot rebuild by denying the destruction. We must first fully acknowledge the chasm. Only then can we gather the stones of the present and begin the slow, patient work of creating a new way across. There is a powerful, unseen current that pulls us away from peace. It's not the current of the river itself, the river is just reality, flowing. This current is one we generate. It is the current of fantasy. Specifically, the fantasy of a corrected past or a controlled future. We mentally swim against the river's flow, trying to reach the bank we passed 10 miles back, where we imagine things were better. Or we swim frantically ahead, trying to secure a distant, safe-looking bank we see in our minds. In both cases, we are exhausting ourselves in imaginary waters, while the real water, the present moment, flows by, unseen and unexperienced. This fantasy is seductive. It feels like planning, like hope, like being proactive. But there is a crucial difference. Planning is done with your feet on the present bank, looking at the river, and building a boat for a journey you will actually take. Fantasy is jumping into the water and trying to swim to a mirage. One is grounded in what is. The other is a flight from what is. We anchor ourselves to these fantasies. I'll be happy when I get that job. My life will start when I find the right partner. I'll finally relax when this project is done. We place a tiny piece of our soul in that imagined future, and we spend our present moments tugging on that anchor line, trying to pull that future closer. But the anchor is hooked on a cloud. Our effort is wasted, and we feel the constant, draining strain of resistance. Peace arrives when we let go of the anchor line. We stop trying to drag the cloud to us. We look down and realize our boat is already floating. The water that holds us is now. The sky above us is now. This doesn't mean we stop rowing toward a destination. It means we stop confusing the destination with the source of our peace. We find the peace in the rowing itself, in the feel of the oars in our hands, the rhythm of our breath, the play of light on the water around us. In the Chianti Hills of Tuscany, I met a winemaker named Giovanni. He spoke of the terroir, the unique combination of soil, climate, and sunlight that gives his wine its character. One year, a late frost damaged many of his vines. The yield would be small. A less experienced winemaker might rage against the weather, trying to force the remaining grapes to produce the same full-bodied wine as a perfect year. He would be fighting his terroir, including the frost. Giovanni did not do this. He accepted the frost as part of that year's story. He walked his rows, assessing the vine's response. The grapes will be different, he said. Not worse. Different. More concentrated, perhaps. More intense. He adjusted his entire process, the timing of the harvest, the fermentation, the aging, to work with what the season had given him, not with what he had planned to take. The resulting wine was not the classico he usually produced. It was a special, limited reserva. And those who tasted it said it was unforgettable, with a depth and character that spoke directly of that particular year's struggle and resilience. Giovanni's acceptance of the frost allowed him to create a new masterpiece, one that could never have existed without the very thing he might have cursed. His peace was in the dialogue with reality, not the monologue of his plan. The practice of grounding, coming back to the senses. When you find yourself tugged by that anchor line into the storm of fantasy, replaying an argument, pre-living a fear, there is a simple, immediate way to return. It is to drop out of the mind and into the senses. The mind is a time traveler. The senses are eternally present. Let's practice this now, wherever you are. First, see. Look around and name 5 things you can see. Not as concepts like a wall, but as textures, colors, shapes. For example, the slightly uneven beige texture of the wall. The silver edge of the laptop. The deep green of a plant leaf with a tiny brown spot. The shadow of the curtain making a soft pattern. The slow blink of a tiny LED light. Next, feel. Notice 4 things you can feel physically. The pressure of the chair against your back. The slight coolness of the air on your forearms. The soft texture of your shirt sleeve. The weight of your feet resting on the floor. Then, hear. Listen for 3 sounds. The distant hum of a refrigerator. The faint click of your own breathing. The rustle of fabric as you shift. Now, smell. Detect 2 smells. The clean scent of laundry. The subtle dusty smell of the room. Finally, taste. Find 1 taste. The lingering taste of mint from tea, or simply the neutral taste of your own mouth. This is not an evasion. It is a homecoming. You are pulling your awareness out of the abstract, turbulent world of thought and planting it firmly back into the solid, quiet reality of the present. The argument, the fear, the fantasy, may still be there, but they are now in the background. You are here. You have just prioritized the real over the imagined. Much of our suffering stems from a core misconception that we are a fixed, solid thing, a self, that is being acted upon by a chaotic world. We feel like a marble statue in a hailstorm, getting chipped and damaged. This is terrifying. What if we are not the statue, but the weather itself? What if we are a process, a flowing pattern of thoughts, sensations, emotions, and memories, changing from moment to moment? A river of experience, not a rock in the river. When you see yourself as solid, every change is a threat. Aging is decay. A shifting opinion is a loss of integrity. A change in mood is a problem to be fixed. When you see yourself as flow, change is your nature. You are meant to move, to adapt, to transform. The hailstorm isn't damaging a statue, it's just more weather passing through the vast sky of your awareness. Watch your thoughts for 1 minute. They arise, drift, change, vanish. Watch your emotions. They swell, crest, and subside. Where in this flowing stream is the solid, permanent, you, that needs to be protected? The peace comes when you stop identifying as one particular wave, the angry wave, the sad wave, the successful wave, and instead rest as the ocean that contains all waves. The ocean is not disturbed by a storm on its surface. It knows its depth. At a ceremony in the Navajo Nation, I witnessed a medicine person create a sacred sand painting. An intricate, symbolic design made from crushed minerals, stones, and pollen. It took hours of meticulous, prayerful work. The colors and patterns were breathtaking, a map of the cosmos and healing. At the climax of the ceremony, once its purpose was complete, the healer did something that stunned my Western mind. They gently, reverently, destroyed the painting. They swept the beautiful, hours-long work into a pile of mixed sand. I later asked about this. The elder explained. The beauty is not in holding the picture. The beauty is in the making, and in the release. The healing power is in the intention and the letting go. If we keep it, we become attached to the form. We try to make the beauty permanent. But nothing is permanent. To try to hold it is to kill it. So we let it return to the earth, reminding us that we, too, are part of this cycle. We are not the painting. We are the act of painting, and the courage to let it go. Our identities, our achievements, our self-images, they are like those sand paintings. Exquisite, meaningful, temporary. Our suffering comes from trying to preserve them under glass, protecting them from the winds of change. Peace comes from pouring our love into their creation, and then, when the moment calls for it, having the sacred courage to let the form dissolve, trusting that the beauty was in the act itself, not in the frozen artifact. The gift of, I don't know. Our minds crave certainty. It's a survival mechanism. A brain that says, I don't know what that rustle in the grass is, might get eaten. So we constantly fill in the blanks. We take one piece of data, a friend's short text, our partner's quiet mood, a boss's ambiguous feedback, and our mind rushes to write the whole story. They're angry with me. I'm going to be fired. This relationship is over. We then react to this complete, fictional story as if it is real. We build fortresses and draw battle lines against phantoms. The most spiritually advanced phrase in any language is a simple one: I don't know. I don't know what that text means. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know what the right decision is. Saying, I don't know, is not a confession of ignorance. It is an act of supreme intellectual honesty and courage. It creates a clearing. It stops the frantic construction of the story and leaves an open space. And in that open space, something new can emerge: curiosity, observation, patience, or the actual truth, which may be far simpler and less dramatic than the story you were telling. Practice allowing the blank space of, I don't know, to exist. When the mind rushes to fill a gap with a fearful assumption, gently interrupt it. Say, softly, maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. And then wait. Breathe into the not knowing. You may find it feels less like anxiety and more like freedom. Your body is not just carrying your mind around. It is a wiser, older intelligence. It is a direct telegraph line to the truth of the present moment. While your mind is spinning tales about yesterday and tomorrow, your body only knows now. It also knows the difference between clean pain and suffering pain. Clean pain is the direct, somatic experience of a difficult fact. The clench in the gut when you hear bad news, the ache in the chest when you feel grief, the heat of anger in your face. It is sharp, clear, and it moves through you if you let it. Suffering pain is the mental and physical tension that comes from resisting the clean pain. It's the knot in your shoulders from trying to hold it together. It's the headache from circular worrying. It's the exhaustion from clenching against the flow of emotion. Your body can be your compass. When you feel suffering pain, the dull, tense, draining kind, ask, what clean pain am I avoiding? Then, turn toward it. Allow yourself to fully feel the clean gut clench, the clean chest ache, for just 1 minute. Don't analyze it. Don't justify it. Just feel the raw sensation. You'll often find that the clean pain, once fully admitted, passes through like a wave, and the suffering pain around it dissolves. The body was asking only to be heard. In the old winter carnival of Quebec City, I met a man whose job was to sculpt blocks of ice for the magnificent palace. He worked in a freezing tent, his hands protected by thick gloves. He showed me how to cut a clear block. The ice has a grain, he said, like wood. If you cut against the grain, it shatters. It fights you. If you cut with the grain, it opens up. It reveals its beauty. He let me try. I pushed the saw against what I thought was the right angle. The blade skittered, caught, and sent a spiderweb of cracks through the block. Ruined. He guided my hands, turning the block slightly. Feel for the resistance. When it lessens, you found the flow. This time, the saw slid through the ice with a smooth, whispering sound, leaving a clean, glassy surface. Most of our trouble, he said, wiping ice shavings from his coat, comes from sawing against the grain of our own lives. We try to force a cut where the material doesn't want to go. We create shards and frustration. Peace is feeling for the natural flow, in a situation, in an emotion, in a conversation, and having the patience to align your effort with it. It's not giving up. It's skillful work. Our resistance is sawing against the grain of reality. Acceptance is the subtle, patient search for the flow, and the courage to cut with it. Between the event and your reaction, there exists a sanctuary. It is often microscopic. A sliver of time so thin it seems not to exist. Within that sliver lies your entire freedom. This is the pause. For most of our lives, we are reactive machines. A trigger fires, and the old, familiar program runs: frustration, defense, withdrawal, anxiety. We are puppets whose strings are pulled by habit. The pause is the moment you feel the tug on the string, and instead of jerking into motion, you stop. You become aware of the string itself. In that stopped awareness, choice is born. Think of it as walking through a dense forest on a path you've walked 1,000 times. Your feet know every route, every turn. This is your habitual reaction path. One day, you see a faint, overgrown animal track veering off into a sun-dappled clearing. To take it, you must pause. You must stop the momentum of your well-worn path. That moment of stopping, that is the pause. It feels awkward. The old path pulls at you. But in the pause, you can choose the new way. How do you widen this pause? You don't force it. You invite it with a question. The next time you feel the heat of anger, the cold grip of fear, the ache of disappointment, ask this simple, internal question. What is happening inside me, right now? Not, why is this happening to me, or, what should I do? Just, what is happening inside me? This question turns your attention away from the external villain and toward your internal landscape. It creates the pause. As you scan for the answer, my jaw is tight. My breath is shallow. There's a sinking feeling in my stomach. You are no longer the reaction. You are the witness of the reaction. And the witness cannot be consumed by the fire it observes. In a quiet studio in Seoul, I watched a master calligrapher practice sui, the art of Korean brush writing. She was writing a single character, jong, meaning stillness. She prepared the ink, grinding the stick slowly against the stone with water, a meditation in itself. She smoothed the precious paper. She centered her body and took a long, slow breath that seemed to settle the very air in the room. Then, she raised the brush. And she paused. She held it poised above the paper, completely still, for what felt like an eternity. In that suspended moment, there was no thought, no intention, just pure potential. Then, with a sudden, sure release of energy, she swept the brush across the paper in a series of flowing, confident strokes. The character was alive, powerful, and perfectly balanced. After, I asked about the long pause. That, she said, is where the art lives. The pause is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is the gathering of all intention, the letting go of all doubt, the alignment of body, mind, and spirit with the single truth of the stroke. If I move from thinking, the stroke is jagged, anxious. If I move from the pause, the stroke comes from a deeper place. It is the stroke of the universe itself, through my hand. Our reactive lives are jagged, anxious strokes. Our peaceful responses are those that come from the cultivated, sacred pause. Before you speak in anger, pause. Before you succumb to worry, pause. Before you decide the day is ruined, pause. In that stillness, gather your whole being. Then, let your action flow from that deep alignment, not from the spasm of habit. When difficult emotions arise, our instinct is to fix, to change, to escape. We treat sadness, fear, or anger as a malfunction, a fire to be put out. This is like trying to smooth out the waves on the ocean with a flat iron. It's a fight against the nature of the element. There is another way, bearing witness. This means allowing the emotion to be present without becoming its spokesperson, its enemy, or its savior. You provide a safe, compassionate container for it to simply exist. Imagine the emotion as a storm cloud passing through the sky of your awareness. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. The sky does not argue with the cloud. It does not try to push it away. It does not become gray and turbulent itself. The sky holds the cloud, allows it to be, knows it will pass, and remains, fundamentally, unchanged and spacious. Practice this with a minor irritation. When you feel it, say to yourself, "Ah. Irritation is here." Feel it in your body. Where is it? What shape does it have? Is it hot or cold? Does it pulse or sit still? Observe it with gentle curiosity, as a scientist might observe a rare phenomenon. Fascinating. This is what irritation feels like in my organism. By removing the story, this person is making me irritated, and moving to pure sensation, you change your relationship to it. You are no longer irritated. You are experiencing the energy of irritation. The cloud is passing through. The sky is watching. A great source of our shoulds and our suffering is the silent, constant thief in our minds, comparison. We compare our behind-the-scenes struggle with someone else's highlight reel. We compare our chapter 3 with their chapter 20. We compare our messy, real-life kitchen with the curated, sunlit image of a kitchen on a screen. Comparison is mental time travel and dimension travel. It pulls you out of your actual life and into a fantasy version of someone else's. It is the ultimate argument with reality. My reality should look like that reality. It's like a maple tree arguing that it should bear oranges because the orange tree down the road seems more vibrant. Your path is singular. Your combination of gifts, wounds, history, and circumstances is unlike any other in the history of the universe. To compare it to another's is a logical fallacy. It makes no sense. A sonnet cannot be judged by the rules of a symphony. When you feel the pinch of comparison, I should be as successful as they are, as happy, as thin, as peaceful, gently interrupt it. Bring your awareness back to your own roots, your own soil. Ask, what is trying to grow here, in the conditions of my actual life? Tend to that. Water that. Protect that. The maple tree, focused on drawing water from its own spot of earth and reaching for the sun above it, does not suffer. It simply becomes a magnificent maple. Off the coast of Zanzibar, I sailed on an old wooden dhow, a traditional sailing vessel with a single, vast lateen sail. The captain, an elderly man named Juma, had no modern instruments. No GPS, no radio, not even a compass in the modern sense. He navigated by reading the wind on his face, the color and texture of the water, the position of the sun, and the stars at night. At one point, a modern speedboat zipped past us, heading directly for the island on the horizon. A tourist on our dhow sighed, "Wouldn't it be faster to have an engine?" Juma smiled, his eyes on the sail. "The engine boat goes where the driver pushes it. My dhow goes where the wind wills it. I do not fight the wind. I have a conversation with it. I listen, and I adjust. My destination is the same, but my journey is a partnership. I arrive not just at a place, but with a story. The engine arrives only with noise." He patted the worn wooden rail. "This boat knows the sea. The engine boat only knows its own fuel." He taught me that comparison steals the poetry of your unique journey. Your life might not be the fastest, most direct, most technologically optimized path. It is a Tao journey. It is dependent on the winds of circumstance, requiring your attentive listening and skillful adjustment. The peace is found in that partnership, in the art of sailing your own life with the materials and winds you actually have, not in lamenting that you are not a speedboat. We speak of letting go, as if it is one action. But it is a process with layers, like peeling an onion. The first layer is letting go of the outcome. This is accepting that you cannot control how things will end, how people will react, whether your effort will bear the exact fruit you imagine. You plant the seed and tend it, but the harvest belongs to life. The second, deeper layer is letting go of the identity attached to the outcome. This is releasing the idea that your worth is tied to success or failure. If this project succeeds, I am capable. If it fails, I am a fraud. You are neither. You are the consciousness engaging in the project. Your worth is inherent, antecedent to any result. The deepest layer is letting go of the need to let go. This is the final surrender. It's the recognition that even your effort to be accepting, to be peaceful, can become a new form of striving, a new blueprint. At this layer, you simply rest. You fall back into the arms of life itself, trusting that even your resistance, your forgetfulness, your moments of failure are part of the perfect, messy tapestry. You let go of being the perfect letter-goer. This is the peace that passes understanding. Gratitude is often presented as a practice of counting blessings, which can sometimes feel forced when the sky is falling. But there is a more profound form of gratitude, gratitude as radical acceptance. It is not saying, "I am grateful for this terrible thing." It is saying, given that this terrible thing is here, what within this moment can I honestly be grateful for? It is finding the end. My heart is broken, and the sun is warm on my skin. I am afraid, and I am breathing. This is incredibly difficult, and I am still here, meeting it. This practice does not cancel the pain. It situates the pain within the larger context of your aliveness. It widens the frame. In doing so, it prevents the pain from becoming the entire picture. It is an act of defiance against the mind's tendency to collapse into a single, overwhelming point of suffering. It is you, asserting your right to perceive the whole mosaic, even when one tile is cracked. In Kanazawa, Japan, I met an artist who practiced kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer mixed with gold, silver, or platinum. She showed me a beautiful, shattered ceramic bowl. The first step, she said, is not to look away from the break. You must gather every fragment. You must study the breaks, understand how they fit. She then mixed the golden lacquer with immense care. This is not about hiding the break, she explained as she began to join the pieces. It is about honoring it. The break is part of the object's history. To repair it without gold would be to pretend it never happened. To throw it away would be to deny its value. But to repair it with gold is to say, this hurt, this breaking, is now part of your beauty. It is what makes you unique and resilient. The finished bowl was breathtaking. The web of golden lines across its surface was more beautiful than its original, unbroken state. It had a story. It had survived. Our grief, our failures, our traumas are our breaks. Our suffering is the shame we feel about having broken. The path to peace is not to hide the breaks or to wish the breaking never happened. It is the slow, patient, respectful work of gathering all the pieces of our experience and joining them back together with the golden lacquer of compassionate awareness. We don't become unbroken. We become golden joined. Our breaks become the very source of our distinctive beauty and strength. We often think of acceptance as a forever yes, a passive agreement to whatever comes. But true acceptance, the kind that leads to peace, requires a deep and sometimes fierce no. It is the no that defines the container, that makes the yes meaningful. Accepting reality does not mean you accept abuse. It does not mean you accept exploitation or the violation of your core boundaries. In fact, to accept those things would be to deny the reality of your own worth, your own humanity. The clearest, most peaceful no comes from a place of full acceptance. You accept the reality that a situation is harmful, and you accept the reality of your right to safety and respect. From that clear-seeing acceptance, a firm no can arise, clean of rage, free from the drama of victimhood. It is simply a statement of fact, like saying no to walking off a cliff. Think of your being as a temple. Acceptance is the act of seeing clearly what is already inside the temple. If you see a toxic substance seeping in, acceptance is not saying, oh well, let it poison the sanctuary. Acceptance is seeing the poison for what it is, and then, from a place of calm stewardship, saying no to its entry. You close the window. You seal the crack. You protect the sacred space. This no is an act of love for the temple, not a war against the poison. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of clarity. And sometimes, the clearest, most peaceful action you can take is a boundary, spoken softly but with immovable conviction. In Kyoto, there is a famous, centuries-old Zen rock garden, Ryoan-ji. It is a rectangle of raked gravel with 15 carefully placed rocks. To enter the viewing veranda, you pass through a small, separate garden with a gate. An elderly man, a volunteer, often sits by this gate. His job is not to take tickets, but to ensure silence begins before visitors even see the main garden. One day, a loud group approached, chatting and laughing. The old man did not shout. He did not wave his arms. He simply stood, bowed slightly, and placed a single finger gently to his lips. His eyes were calm but utterly firm. He held the space with his quiet "no." The group's noise stumbled, then ceased. They passed through the gate in the silence he had protected. I spoke to him later. He said, "The garden's peace is deep, but it is delicate. It cannot shout over noise. My task is to be the first layer of its silence. The no to noise is not anger. It is care. If I let the noise in, I would be accepting not life, but the destruction of something precious. True acceptance knows what to let in, and what to gently, firmly, keep at the gate. We must learn to be gatekeepers of our own inner garden. Acceptance is discerning what belongs in the sanctuary of your peace and what does not. The peaceful no is the most important tool a gatekeeper has. A deep, hidden source of our daily dissatisfaction is the belief in a finish line. We believe in a state called arrived. We think, when I finally get that degree, land that job, pay off that debt, find that partner, heal that wound, then I will arrive. Then I can rest. Then peace will be my default setting. This is the great myth. It tricks us into mortgaging our present moments for a future that does not exist. Life is not a linear journey with a destination. It is a mandala, a circular, elaborate pattern you walk, with the center everywhere and the circumference nowhere. You are always at the center of your own experience. There is no there to get to. The peace you seek is not at the end of the path. It is in the quality of your footsteps on the path, right now. Are your footsteps heavy with resentment for the distance left to go? Or are they light with attention to the earth beneath your feet, the air on your skin, the simple miracle of movement? When you catch yourself saying, "I'll be happy when," gently interrupt the sentence. Bring your mind back to the sensation of this breath. This breath is not in the future. It is here. This is the only place you can ever actually live. The future, arrival, is a ghost. This breath is real. Choose the real. When you encounter internal resistance, the clench, the argument, the instruction is often to let go. But how? Let go can feel like another impossible task. Try a different word, soften. Where are you hard? Where are you rigid? In your jaw? Your belly? Your thoughts? Instead of commanding yourself to release, invite yourself to soften. It's a gentler, more accessible movement. Feel the anger like a hard knot in your chest. Don't try to untie it or make it disappear. Just breathe into the area around it and whisper, internally, soft, N. Imagine the knot, like cold butter, beginning to warm just a fraction at its edges. Not melting away, just becoming slightly less rigid. That's enough. Feel the anxious thought circling like a buzzing, hard insect in your mind. Instead of swatting at it, surround it with soft space. Imagine the thought floating in a vast, soft cloud. The cloud doesn't fight the thought, it just gently holds it, muffling its sharp edges. Softening is the middle way between clenching and collapsing. It is the beginning of acceptance. You are not agreeing with the difficulty, you are simply stopping the war against its existence within you. A softened body cannot maintain an argument. A softened heart can begin to feel compassion, even for its own pain. Near the powerful Skogafoss waterfall in Iceland, I saw a woman sitting perfectly still on a wet rock, not far from the spray. The roar of the water was deafening, a physical vibration in the air. I expected to see someone overwhelmed, covering their ears. But her face was serene. Her eyes were closed, and a slight smile touched her lips. Curious, I returned after my hike. She was still there. When she finally rose and walked back to the path, I asked her how she could meditate in such chaos. "It's not chaos," she said, her voice surprisingly clear. "It is just immense power. At first, you fight it. Your mind tries to be louder than the waterfall. It's exhausting. Then, you try to block it out. That's also a fight. Finally, you stop. You let the sound move through you. You don't become the waterfall. You become the space the waterfall is flowing through. The sound becomes, not loud, but full. It becomes a kind of silence. A roaring silence." She had found the practice of softening into the overwhelming, not against it. She didn't accept the waterfall as a problem to be solved. She accepted it as a reality to be experienced in its totality. And in that total acceptance, she found a profound, unexpected peace within the roar. Our mental storms are like that waterfall. We can't outthink them or outshout them. But we can learn to soften our resistance, to let the storm of thought and emotion roar through the spaciousness of our awareness, until even the roar becomes a form of silent, powerful presence. The Buddha taught a famous parable about the two arrows. When you are struck by an arrow, a pain, a loss, a disappointment, that is the first arrow. It hurts. This is the pain inherent in life. Most of us then immediately shoot ourselves with a second arrow. This arrow is our reaction to the first. It is our story, our lament, our protest. Why me? This is unbearable. This ruins everything. What's wrong with me? This second arrow is the source of our suffering. The first arrow is fate. The second arrow is our own creation. The practice is to feel the wound of the first arrow with clear, compassionate attention, and to consciously choose not to reach for the bow to fire the second. To say, "This pain is enough. I will not add mental torment to physical or emotional pain." To cradle the wound of the first arrow and tend to it, rather than frantically searching for someone to blame, including yourself. When disappointment hits, feel the sinking feeling. That's the first arrow. Then, watch the mind scramble to fire the second, "I never get what I want." This always happens. See that scramble. Pause. Breathe. And choose to lay the second arrow down. Just be with the clean, sharp ache of the first. You'll find it is bearable. It is what it is. The suffering was in the frantic, added narrative. On the frozen, glass-clear surface of Lake Baikal in Siberia, I watched an old man teaching a child how to skip stones, not on water, but on the ice. The ice was smooth as a mirror. He selected flat stones and showed the child a unique, gentle, side-armed flick of the wrist. The stone would skitter, then slide, then spin for an astonishing distance, creating a faint, singing sound against the ice. The child tried. His first stone hit with a hard crack and stuck immediately. "You are throwing at the ice," the old man chuckled. "You must throw with it. You are not fighting the ice. You are asking it to carry your stone for a while." He demonstrated again. The stone seemed to kiss the surface and then glide, as if welcomed. The child adjusted. Less force. More finesse. Acknowledging the reality of the hard, slick surface instead of opposing it. His next stone skidded 10, then 20 meters, singing its thin, happy song. Our reactions are often like that first throw, a forceful, direct impact against a hard reality that stops us dead, leaving us feeling stuck and jarred. A peaceful response is the second throw. An acknowledgement of the surface, an adjustment of angle and force, a willingness to let reality carry our intention for a while. It's not surrender of goal, but synergy with condition. The stone still travels. The journey just becomes graceful, even musical. Acceptance is not only for the pleasant parts of ourselves. In fact, the deepest peace comes from accepting what psychologist Carl Jung called the shadow, the parts of ourselves we deem unacceptable. Our pettiness, our envy, our laziness, our secret fears, our capacity for anger. We spend immense energy trying to hide these parts from ourselves and others. We lock them in a basement room of our psyche. But they don't sit quietly. They rattle the pipes. They cause strange smells. They manifest as projections onto others. The people who irritate us most often mirror our own shadow, or as unexplained moods and self-sabotage. Acceptance in this realm is not indulgence. It is not saying, "I am lazy, so I will never work again." It is saying, "Ah, the part of me that wants to rest, to escape pressure, is here. Hello." You bring the shadow up from the basement and into the light of your awareness. You see it clearly, without flinching. This simple act of seeing without judgment often neutralizes its power. The energy you use to repress it becomes available for integration. That lazy part might transform into a wise understanding of your need for rest. That angry part might contain a powerful boundary that needs to be set. You are not your shadow. You are the house that contains all the rooms, light and dark. Peace comes from being the compassionate, curious owner who visits every room, turns on every light, and knows the full blueprint of the home. In the storm of thought, the tide of emotion, there is one anchor that is always accessible, always reliable, and always in the present moment: your breath. It is the bridge between your conscious will and your autonomic nervous system. It is the gentle rudder for your internal state. You cannot breathe in the past. You cannot breathe in the future. You can only breathe now. Therefore, when you bring your full attention to the breath, you are pulled, instantly and irrevocably, into the present. The argument with reality requires time travel, regret over the past, anxiety about the future. The breath roots you in the territory where no argument can exist, the eternal now. This is not a complicated practice. It is the simplest thing in the world. For the next minute, let everything else be background. Feel the air as it enters your nostrils. Is it cool? Feel the slight pause at the top of the inhale. Then feel the warmer air leaving your body on the exhale. Feel the natural pause at the bottom. Don't change it. Don't judge it. Just follow it. Your mind will wander. That's what minds do. The moment you notice it has wandered, gently, without any self-criticism, guide your attention back to the sensation of the breath. That act of noticing and returning is the practice. It is the repetition of coming home. Each return is a vote for presence over fantasy. Each anchored breath is a quiet yes to what is, right here, right now. In this simple yes, the war subsides. Before the fire, in the towers of Notre Dame in Paris, there was a chief bell ringer who had a most unusual practice. The great bell, Emmanuel, weighs over 13 tons. To ring it, you don't pull it, you must move with its immense pendulum. The bell ringer explained it to me, you do not control the bell. You cannot. If you try to force its rhythm, you will be thrown across the tower. You must first feel its weight, its tempo, in your bones. Then, you add your own weight to its swing, in perfect synchrony. You become part of its motion. Only then can you guide it. The force is the bell's. The direction is a partnership. He described the first time he tried it as a young man. He fought the bell, and it left him bruised and defeated. His master told him, "You are arguing with 10 centuries of bronze. You will lose. You must listen, and then dance." Our emotional and mental patterns are like that great bell. They have weight and momentum born of years of habit. Fighting them directly is exhausting and futile. The practice is to first feel their rhythm without resistance, to listen to the anger, the worry, the sadness. Then, from a place of acceptance, we can gently add the weight of our conscious awareness to the swing, not to stop it, but to guide its arc towards something more harmonious. Peace is not stopping the bell. It is learning the steps to its ancient dance. A profound barrier to acceptance is the feeling that we already know. We have a category for everything. This is traffic, it's annoying. This is a difficult person, they're always like that. This is failure, it feels terrible. Our labels come with pre-packaged reactions. We stop experiencing the moment and instead react to our mental filing cabinet. The Zen concept of Shoshin, or beginner's mind, is the antidote. It is approaching every experience as if for the very first time, free of preconceptions. What if this traffic jam is not just annoying, but a unique moment of collective pause in the city's heartbeat? What if this difficult person is not being difficult, but is expressing a pain you've never bothered to truly see? What if this failure is not an ending, but a terrain you've never explored before? Beginner's mind is not ignorance. It is wise humility. It is the recognition that reality is always more nuanced, more surprising, than our stale concepts of it. It creates a gap between perception and reaction, and in that gap, curiosity blooms. And curiosity is the enemy of suffering. You cannot be both genuinely curious and deeply resentful in the same moment. Try it today. Pick one routine event, your morning coffee, your commute, or recurring meeting. Instead of moving through it on autopilot, pretend you are a visitor from another planet experiencing it for the very first time. Notice the colors, the textures, the sounds, the sensations, without the filter of, "I already know this." You may discover the world, and your own life, is far more interesting than you had allowed it to be. Our modern world worships at the altar of efficiency. We believe that faster, smoother, more optimized is always better. This mindset invades our inner world. We feel we should process emotions efficiently, heal from grief on a schedule, achieve enlightenment by a certain age. We treat our inner life like a productivity project. But the soul is not efficient. It is organic. It operates on the timescale of geology and seasons, not silicon and seconds. A forest is not efficient, it is lush, messy, interdependent, and gloriously wasteful by corporate standards. And it is infinitely resilient and creative. Acceptance includes accepting the inherent, beautiful inefficiency of being human. It is okay to take a long time to heal. It is okay to have an unproductive day. It is okay for your meditation to feel messy, for your progress to be non-linear, for your heart to circle back to old wounds. This is not a flaw. It is the natural rhythm of a complex, living system. Give yourself permission to be a forest, not a factory. Allow for decay, for fallow periods, for unexpected growth in crooked directions. The pressure to be constantly efficient is a form of violence against your nature. Peace is found when you lay down that burden and simply allow your life to unfold at the pace of life. In Northern California, a woodcarver named Henry lived on the edge of a protected redwood forest. He didn't cut live trees. He worked with burls, the massive, knotted growths that form on redwood trunks, often after injury. In the logging industry, burls are considered defects, ruining the clean, efficient line of the timber. Henry saw them differently. He would spend months, sometimes years, studying a single burl he'd found fallen. He'd sit with it, touch it, visualize. Then, with painstaking slowness, he would carve, not imposing a shape, but revealing the shape he felt was sleeping within the chaotic, twisted grain. He called it, listening to the wood's memory. The finished pieces were not sleek or efficient. They were wild, flowing, emotional sculptures where the wood's response to ancient injury had been transformed into breathtaking art. The burl, he told me, is the tree's most interesting story. It's where it fought, healed, adapted, and grew in a unique way. To see it as a flaw is to miss the point entirely. The flaw is the masterpiece. Our perceived flaws, our inefficiencies, our psychological burls, the knots formed by old wounds, are not just defects to be milled away. They contain our most unique stories, our deepest resilience. The peaceful life is not about sanding yourself down to a smooth, efficient plank. It is about having the patience and artistry to listen to the memory within your own grain, and to reveal the singular masterpiece hidden in what the world calls a defect. A significant portion of our daily suffering is spent managing other people's perceptions. We explain, we justify, we post carefully curated evidence, we fret over a misunderstood comment. We are in a constant, invisible campaign to control the narrative of us in the minds of others. This is an exhausting, impossible battle. You cannot control another person's mind. Their perception is filtered through their own wounds, biases, and history. It is their reality, not yours. A profound liberation comes with the acceptance: people will be wrong about you. They will misunderstand your motives, underestimate your capacities, project their own fears onto your actions. And that is okay. Your worth, your truth, does not require their validation to exist. It is an internal fact, like the law of gravity. When you feel the urge to correct a misperception, pause. Ask, is this necessary for practical reasons, or is it just to soothe my own discomfort with being misunderstood? Often, it's the latter. You can practice sitting with that discomfort. Let them be wrong. Your inner peace does not depend on everyone having an accurate map of your interior. You know your own terrain. That is enough. Gratitude is powerful, but it can become another should. I should be grateful for what I have. When felt as an obligation, it loses its magic. Try shifting from the mindset of having gratitude to the practice of saying, thank you. Make it an active verb, not a state to achieve. Say it to inanimate objects. Thank you, bed, for holding me. Thank you, water, for quenching my thirst. Thank you, this difficult feeling, for showing me where I am still tender. This practice does two things. First, it continually pulls you into a relationship with the present moment. You can't say, thank you, to something that isn't here. Second, it cultivates a sense of relationship and reciprocity with life itself, breaking down the illusion of being a separate self who is owed things. It turns life from a series of transactions into a continuous conversation. You don't have to feel deeply moved. Just say the words, silently or aloud. Thank you. Let the feeling follow, or not. The words themselves are a seed planted in the soil of your awareness. In the vast, silent halls of the British Museum after closing, an older night watchman named Arthur made his rounds. He didn't see the exhibits as a security guard might. He had a different ritual. As he passed the Rosetta Stone, he would nod and whisper, "Good evening." To the Egyptian sarcophagi, he'd say, "Sleep well." He would wish the broken statues from the Parthenon a peaceful night. A younger guard once asked him why he talked to the artifacts. Arthur said, "They've been through a lot, haven't they? Wars, digs, travels, stairs. They carry the weight of their stories. My job isn't just to watch them. It's to witness them. To acknowledge they're here." A simple, "good evening," is a way of saying, "I see you. Your journey matters." It makes the silence less lonely, for them, and for me. He wasn't sentimental, he was deeply respectful. He was practicing a form of radical acknowledgement. He was accepting the reality of these objects not as inventory, but as beings with history, and he was meeting that reality with a gesture of relationship. We can do this with the artifacts of our own inner museum. Our old memories, our regrets, our joys, our traumas. We don't have to analyze them or change them. We can simply walk through the halls of our own heart in the quiet night of our awareness, nod to them, and say, "I see you. You are part of the collection." This acknowledgement, free of judgment, is a deep form of acceptance that brings peace to the inner watchman. Let's go deeper into the two arrows. Pain is a signal. It is the body's or the heart's intelligence saying, "Pay attention here." Physical pain says, "Move your hand from the stove." Emotional pain says, "A boundary was crossed," or "Something you love is gone," or "A need is not being met." Suffering is what happens when we refuse to listen to the signal. We don't just feel the burn, we scream, "Why is there a stove? Who put it here? This is unfair. I'm so stupid." We don't just feel the grief, we tell ourselves, "I should be over this by now. I'll never be happy again. This is unbearable." Suffering is the argument with the signal. Acceptance is the act of listening to the signal with full attention. Ah, this is grief. This is what it feels like in my body. It is a deep, hollow ache in the chest. It comes in waves. When you listen this closely, something shifts. The pain remains, but it is held in a field of compassionate awareness. It is no longer wrong. It is simply information. And held in that way, even the most intense pain becomes a bearable experience. It becomes part of the flow of your life, not a dam that stops it completely. We run from boredom as if it were a plague. We fill every silence, every idle moment, with stimulation, a podcast, a scroll, a plan. We fear the empty space. But boredom is not the enemy of a peaceful mind, it is its invitation. Boredom is the mind, having exhausted its usual distractions, finally settling at your feet and looking up at you as if to say, "Now what?" In that "now what" lies a profound opportunity. It is the space where creativity is born, where self-reflection becomes possible, where you can simply be without an agenda. When you feel boredom arise, instead of immediately reaching for a device, try this: sit with it for just 3 minutes. Feel the physical restlessness, the mental itch. Watch it. Breathe into it. You are not trying to make it interesting. You are simply being present with the experience of not being entertained. What you'll often find is that beneath the label boredom is a rich tapestry of subtle sensations and feelings you've been avoiding, a slight anxiety, a whisper of loneliness, a gentle fatigue, or simply the raw, unadulterated experience of existence itself. By accepting the boredom, you accept a direct, unfiltered connection to your own being. And in that connection, a deep and quiet form of peace can be found. In the relentless pulse of the Tokyo subway, there is a conductor known for his preternatural calm. During rush hour, the trains are packed, delays happen, tempers fray. Yet, in the middle of the chaos, this man moves with a serene, deliberate slowness. He announces stops with a voice that is clear and gentle, not rushed. He helps elderly passengers with infinite patience as the crowd pushes behind them. A journalist once profiled him, asking his secret. The conductor said, "Early in my career, I fought the rush hour. I was tense, shouting, trying to force efficiency. It was a war I lost every day. Then I realized, the rush hour is not an interruption of my job. It is my job. The crowd, the pressure, the noise, this is the environment. My task is not to change the environment, but to be a point of calm within it. My slowness is not inefficiency. It is my refusal to let the chaos dictate my inner state. When I move slowly and speak calmly, I give permission for a little pocket of order to exist around me. Sometimes, it spreads. He had accepted the reality of the rush hour completely. In doing so, he stopped wasting energy arguing with it. That freed up all his energy to perform his role with skillful, peaceful presence. He became an oasis not by changing the desert, but by knowing how to find the water within himself and offering it through his demeanor. Our culture glorifies action. We believe that to be valuable, we must be constantly doing, fixing, improving, producing. This mindset invades our inner world. When we feel emotional pain, our instinct is to do something, analyze it, talk about it, fix it, medicate it, distract from it. But what if the most radical, healing action is sometimes inaction? What if the wisest response to a storm of emotion is not to start building shelters or drawing maps, but to simply sit still and let the rain fall? To allow the feeling to be there, in its full intensity, without trying to manage it, change it, or even understand it. This takes immense courage. It feels like surrender to the void. But it is not surrender to despair. It is surrender to truth. It is saying, I don't know what to do with this, so I will stop doing. I will just be here with it. In that intentional pause of doing, something organic and intelligent within you is allowed to take over, the innate healing wisdom of your own psyche and nervous system. Just as the body knows how to clot blood and mend a bone, the psyche, given space, knows how to process emotion. Our frantic doing often just gets in the way. Practice. Next time a strong, difficult emotion arises, set a timer for 5 minutes. Your only task is to sit or lie down comfortably and do absolutely nothing to address the emotion. Don't journal, don't call a friend, don't meditate on it. Just be. Let the emotion wash over you like a weather system. Observe it as you would observe a thunderstorm from a safe porch. Trust that doing nothing is, in fact, a profound form of doing. It is creating the conditions for integration. We don't just tell ourselves stories, we wear them. They become our posture, our facial expressions, the set of our shoulders. The story, I am a victim, manifests as a collapsed chest and downcast eyes. The story, I must be perfect, shows up as a rigid spine and a tight jaw. The story, the world is dangerous, is worn as raised, tense shoulders. You can work from the outside in. Notice your posture right now. Are you embodying a story of burden, of defense, of striving? Without changing the story in your mind, simply change the posture of your body. If your shoulders are hunched, gently roll them back and down, opening the chest. If your jaw is clenched, let your lips part and your teeth separate. If your brow is furrowed, smooth it with a conscious release. This is not faking it. It is using the body as a tool to communicate safety to the nervous system. The body sends signals to the mind. An open, relaxed posture signals, we are safe enough to be open. We do not need to brace for impact. Often, when the body relaxes its story-holding posture, the mind follows, and the old narrative loosens its grip. You are not the story. You are the being who can choose how to wear your body in this moment. Deep in the Amazon basin, I met an indigenous cartographer named Kawi. His people did not make maps on paper. They made maps in song. The geography of their territory, every bend in the river, every distinctive tree, every hill, was encoded in melodies and rhythms passed down for generations. To navigate, you didn't look at a chart, you sang the song of the journey. The song told you what to expect, and your experience of the landscape confirmed it. Kawi said, "The paper map is dead. It says, this is the land. It is fixed. But the river moves. The tree falls. The land is alive. Our song map is alive. It remembers the old path of the river, but it also has verses for the new one. It does not argue with the change. It sings the change into the story. Our minds are paper map makers. We chart our lives, our identities, our expectations, and then we get angry when the living landscape doesn't match our fixed document. We need to become song makers. Our understanding of ourselves and our path must be alive, fluid, able to incorporate the new bend in the river, the fallen tree, the unexpected clearing. The song of your life should be able to sing the truth of a loss, a failure, a detour, not as a tragic error, but as the next verse in an ongoing, beautiful, and adaptable epic. Peace is found in swapping the brittle map for the resilient song. We often operate under the unconscious assumption that our energy is infinite. We schedule as if we will be a perpetual motion machine, feeling betrayed by our own bodies and minds when we inevitably tire. We treat fatigue as a personal failure, a sign of weakness. What if we accepted the fundamental truth of our limited energy? Not as a flaw, but as a defining feature of being an embodied creature. The sun has a limited amount of light to give each day, and it sets without apology. The tide has a limited push before it must pull back. Accepting your energy limits is an act of peace. It means planning from a place of realism, not fantasy. It means listening to the whispers of fatigue and honoring them with rest before they become screams of exhaustion and burnout. It means ending the war with your own biology. Practice, at the start of your day, consciously budget your energy like a precious currency. I have this much for focused work, this much for interaction, this much for creative play, and this non-negotiable amount for restoration. When the allotted energy for a task is spent, stop. Don't push into deficit spending, which you'll pay for later with interest in the form of irritability and illness. Living within your energy means is a sustainable practice of self-respect. A heavy, hidden burden many of us carry is the unconscious responsibility for other people's happiness, choices, and healing. We see someone suffering, and we feel compelled to fix it. We see someone making what we deem a poor choice, and we feel obligated to correct them. This is often born of love, but it is a recipe for shared suffering. Acceptance extends to other people's journeys. It is the recognition that you are not the author of their story. You are, at best, a supporting character, a guest in their narrative. You can offer love, resources, a listening ear, but you cannot walk their path for them. Their pain, their lessons, their timing, belong to them. Trying to fix others is a form of arguing with the reality of their autonomy. It drains your energy and often creates resentment in them. The peaceful alternative is to offer presence, not solutions. To say, I see you're struggling. I'm here with you. This is often a more powerful gift than any advice. It allows them the dignity of their own process. It also liberates you from an impossible task, freeing your energy to tend to your own garden. On a remote, storm-lashed island in the Faroes, the lighthouse keeper and his wife lived for decades in isolation. The wife, Ellen, was an avid gardener. In that climate, with ferocious winds and salty spray, gardening was an act of defiance. Most plants simply died. But Ellen kept trying. She didn't fight the wind by building taller walls, they'd just blow over. She learned to plant in the lee of rocks, to choose low, clinging plants that thrived on adversity like sea thrift and campion. She showed me her garden, a miraculous patch of color in the gray-green landscape. I used to be angry at the wind, she said. I'd plant tulips from the catalog, and they'd be shredded. I thought the land was against me. Then I realized I was the one who was against the land. I started asking, what actually wants to grow here? Not what should grow, but what has the wisdom to live in these conditions. When I stopped imposing my will and started collaborating with the reality of the place, we made something beautiful together. Our inner landscape has its own climate, winds of anxiety, salt spray of old grief, thin soil in some areas, rich loam in others. Peace is not about forcing tropical flowers to grow in a stormy, northern soul. It's about having the humility to ask, what qualities of peace, of joy, of resilience are actually suited to the unique conditions of my being? And then nurturing those. We are taught that strength is hardness, invulnerability, stoic endurance. But what if true strength is flexibility? A reed bends in the hurricane and stands again when the wind passes. The oak, refusing to bend, is uprooted. Psychological and spiritual strength is not about never feeling fear, grief, or doubt. It is about the capacity to feel those things fully, to let them move through you, and to not break. It is tensile strength, not compressive strength. It is the strength of a river that flows around obstacles, not the strength of a dam that holds everything back until it cracks. Cultivate flexible strength. When a difficult emotion comes, don't brace against it. Allow it. Let it show you its contours. Trust that you are spacious enough to contain it. Your strength is not in your resistance, but in your resilience, your ability to return to a state of equilibrium after being stretched. We live in a culture that worships completion. The finished project, the accomplished goal, the resolved conflict, the healed wound. We are uncomfortable with loose ends, with ambiguity, with the ongoing. We want to tie everything up with a bow and put it on a shelf. But life is inherently unfinished. It is a work in progress until the moment it ends. Every resolution births new questions. Every healed wound leaves a scar that tells a story. Every finished project creates space for a new beginning. Our suffering increases when we demand that life, and our own inner state, conform to the myth of finished. We think, I should be over this by now, or I need to have this all figured out. We reject the beautiful, messy, evolving masterpiece of our becoming. Acceptance means making peace with the unfinished nature of everything. It means seeing your life as a verb, not a noun. You are not a finished person who then experiences things. You are a personing, a dynamic process of experience, reaction, learning, and growth. The canvas is never final. The brush is always in your hand, and sometimes the paint drips, and sometimes you change your mind about the color. That's not failure, it's art in motion. Find sanctuary in the unfinished. Let your to-do list be a guide, not a tyrant. Allow your understanding of yourself to remain soft and open to revision. See your relationships as living conversations, not signed contracts. In the space of the unfinished, there is room to breathe, to change, to be surprised by grace. In the remote, rural community of Gee's Bend, Alabama, generations of African American women have created some of the most celebrated quilts in modern art. They work not from patterns, but from intuition and available materials, worn-out work clothes, dresses, feed sacks. The quilts are bold, asymmetrical, and improvisational. A strip might end abruptly because the fabric ran out. A color might clash because it was the only piece left. A master quilter, Mary Lee Bendolph, once said, "You don't look at a scrap and see what it isn't. You see what it is. You see its color, its weight, its story. Then you put it next to another scrap and you see what conversation they have. The quilt makes itself. You're just listening." She never starts with a picture of a finished quilt. She starts with the first scrap and responds. The quilt is finished when she runs out of scraps or feels the composition is complete. There is no wrong. There is only the ongoing dialogue between the weaver and the material. Our days are like those quilts. We have scraps of time, fragments of energy, patches of mood and circumstance. We can lament that we don't have perfect, matching, new fabric cut to a predefined pattern. Or we can accept the scraps we have today, the tired energy, the unexpected interruption, the minor joy, and begin weaving them together with attentive care, listening for the conversation they want to have. The day may not look like a perfect, symmetrical masterpiece from a magazine. But it will be a true, sturdy, beautiful creation that could only have been made by you, with the materials life actually gave you. The mind deals in absolutes. This is terrible. I'll never get this. Everything is falling apart. These statements are declarations of permanent reality, and they feel crushing. A simple linguistic shift can create immense space. Add the phrase, "for now." This is difficult for now. I don't understand this for now. This feels overwhelming for now. These two words are a bridge between resistance and acceptance. They acknowledge the present difficulty without cementing it into a prophecy. They whisper the truth of impermanence to a mind stuck in a solid, painful present. For now is an act of faith in flow. It says, I accept this current weather pattern, and I also accept that weather changes. Try it. Take a current struggle and apply, for now, to your description of it. Feel the slight relaxation, the opening of a door where before there was only a solid wall. Perfectionism is the enemy of peace. It is the voice of an inner tyrant that argues relentlessly with reality, because reality is never perfect. The pursuit of perfection is a state of perpetual war with the present moment, which is always flawed, always incomplete. The antidote is the principle of good enough. This is not about low standards or laziness. It is about intelligent sufficiency. It is the recognition that at a certain point, additional effort yields diminishing returns and increasing suffering. It is the wisdom to say, this meets the requirements. This fulfills the purpose. This is good enough to serve, to connect, to heal, to move forward. Good enough is an act of peace with the inherent limitations of time, energy, and skill. It allows you to complete things and move on. It frees you from the prison of infinite revision and self-criticism. Apply it to your work, to your parenting, to your appearance, to your spiritual practice. Is your meditation good enough if you showed up and tried? Is your meal good enough if it's nourishing? Is your effort good enough if it was sincere? Choosing good enough is choosing to end the argument with an impossible ideal and to make peace with the beautiful, imperfect reality of what you can actually do. High in the Himalayas of Nepal, in a village cut off by a deep gorge, the only crossing for generations was a narrow, swaying rope bridge. It was worn, it dipped alarmingly in the middle, and in the wind it would swing and twist. To outsiders, it looked terrifying, a thing to be replaced with a solid steel span. But to the villagers, it was just the bridge. They crossed it without fear, even with heavy loads. They had a saying, don't fight the swing. Join the swing. The bridge is alive. It talks to the wind. If you stand stiff, you will fight it and fall. If you move with it, you become part of its dance, and it will carry you across. They accepted the bridge completely, in all its terrifying aliveness. They didn't waste energy wishing for a different bridge. They developed the skill to move in harmony with the one they had. Their peace was not in the stability of the crossing, but in their fluid, adaptive relationship to its inherent instability. Our lives are that rope bridge. Circumstances sway and dip. The winds of change howl. We can stand rigid, terrified, fighting every motion, exhausting ourselves. Or we can accept the swinging, alive nature of our path. We can learn the subtle footwork, develop a feel for the rhythm, and move with the instability. In doing so, we discover we can cross anything, not because the path is solid, but because we have made peace with its motion. A subtle, pervasive form of suffering is the pressure to be extraordinary. To have a unique voice, a remarkable story, a life that stands out and makes an impact. This pressure turns our ordinary, human moments into failures. The quiet evening, the simple meal, the routine work, the unremarkable day, all seem like evidence that we are not living up to our potential. What if the goal is not to be extraordinary, but to be authentically ordinary. To fully inhabit the human experience, with all its mundane beauty and predictable struggles. The oak tree does not try to be extraordinary, it is fully, utterly itself, and in that, it is magnificent. There is profound peace in releasing the need for your life to be a headline and allowing it to be a poem, a simple, honest, sometimes messy, deeply felt poem. Your impact may not be global. It may be the quality of presence you bring to your family, the kindness you show a stranger, the integrity you bring to your small corner of the world. This is not a small thing. It is the foundation of a meaningful life. Practice letting a day be ordinary. Don't seek the highlight. Don't frame the perfect photo. Just live it. Wash the dish, feel the water. Walk to the mailbox, feel the air. Listen to your friend, hear their voice. In the full acceptance of the ordinary, you may find it becomes extraordinary in its depth and realness. We've spoken of the body as a compass. Let's go deeper. Your body is not just reacting to the present, it is a living record of your past. Old tensions, held emotions, traumatic memories are stored in your tissues, your posture, your patterns of breath. This is why you can't always think your way to peace. The argument is etched into your flesh. Therefore, the path to peace must be embodied. Talk therapy is useful, but the body keeps the score. Practices like yoga, tai chi, mindful walking, conscious breathing, or even simple stretching are not just exercises. They are conversations with your embodied history. They are ways of gently asking the clenched muscle, what are you holding? Can you let go, just a little? When you move your body with awareness, you are not just working out. You are diplomacy. You are sending messages of safety and release to the fortress of your nervous system. You are telling the old stories held in your hips, your shoulders, your jaw, that it is safe to stand down now. The peace that comes from this is not just mental, it is a cellular peace. It is the peace of a body no longer bracing for a blow that happened long ago. On a remote Arctic island in Svalbard, Norway, buried deep in a mountain of permafrost, is the global seed vault. It is a backup for the world's agricultural biodiversity, storing millions of seed samples from every country. The man who oversees its maintenance, Lars, has one of the quietest, most patient jobs on Earth. For months at a time, nothing happens. The seeds just sit in the frozen dark, waiting. I asked him if the stillness and isolation ever got to him. He shook his head. You have to understand what you're guarding, he said. In here is not just seed. It's potential. It's the future possibility of 1,000 kinds of wheat, of rice, of apple. My job is not to make them grow. It's to protect their dormant potential. To provide the perfect, accepting conditions of cold and dark so that their possibility remains intact, untarnished, for whenever it is needed. The doing is in the not doing. The action is in the perfect, patient holding. He saw himself not as a passive watchman, but as an active guardian of potential. His peace came from aligning with the purpose of his task, which was essentially, to provide a perfect, non-interfering acceptance. We all have a seed vault within us. It holds our dormant potentials, our unlived dreams, our quiet talents, our capacity for joy and love that may be buried under the permafrost of current difficulty or old pain. Our job is not to force these seeds to sprout prematurely. It is to be the wise keeper. To create, through acceptance and inner quiet, the conditions where these potentials remain safe and viable. To trust that when the season is right in our lives, when the inner climate thaws, the right seed will germinate. Our peace lies in the faithful guardianship of our own potential, not in frantic, forced cultivation. While life is unfinished, there is peace in consciously closing circles on what is truly over. An unresolved argument from years ago that you still replay. A dream you haven't admitted is no longer alive. A hope you're clinging to that has no basis in current reality. These open loops drain psychic energy. Closing a circle doesn't always require external action. It is an internal ritual of acceptance. It is saying to yourself, clearly and kindly, that is over. That chapter is closed. I release my mental energy from trying to change its ending. You might write a letter you never send. You might have a symbolic conversation in your meditation. You might simply speak the words aloud to the empty room, "It is finished." This is not cynicism. It is clarity. It creates space in your mental landscape. When you close a circle on what is dead, you make room to tend to what is alive. You stop watering a ghost garden and can turn your attention to the seeds that are actually in your hand today. Where you place your attention is where you place your life force. It is the most powerful creative tool you possess. Suffering is often just attention stuck on a narrow, painful point, a single broken piece of the mosaic, a single dark cloud in a vast sky. Peace is the conscious redirecting of attention to the whole mosaic, to the sky that holds the cloud. You cannot always control what appears in your field of experience, but you can, with practice, guide the spotlight of your attention. This is not positive thinking. It is conscious selecting. It is the recognition that while the difficult thing is real and true, it is not the only thing that is real and true. If you are in physical pain, your attention can be on the searing point of pain, or it can be invited to also feel the places that are not in pain, the coolness of the sheet, the support of the mattress, the rhythm of your breath around the pain. This doesn't erase the pain, but it contextualizes it, preventing it from becoming the entire universe. Practice this with emotional pain. Yes, there is sadness here. And also, there is the sound of rain. And also, there is the warmth of this cup in my hands. You are not denying the sadness. You are refusing to be monopolized by it. You are exercising your sovereign right to notice the entire landscape of your present moment. This is the alchemy that transforms suffering into a bearable, part-of-life experience. In the Church of Santa Croce in Florence, I watched a restorer named Chiara work on a 14th-century fresco damaged by humidity. Her task was not to paint over the damage, not to create something new where the old had flaked away. Her tools were fine brushes, scalpels, and magnifying lenses. Her method was one of microscopic attention. She would spend an hour on a square inch, carefully removing grime, consolidating flaking pigment, filling tiny losses with reversible material. She wasn't looking at the whole damaged scene, which would be overwhelming. She was giving her full, loving attention to the specific, tiny area in front of her. If I think about the whole wall, she said, I feel despair. It's too much. But if I just ask, what does this centimeter need right now, then my work becomes peaceful, even meditative. I am in a conversation with this small part of the truth. And centimeter by centimeter, the larger truth, the beauty of the original, reveals itself again. Our minds are like that damaged fresco, with large areas clouded by worry, patches of grief, cracks of anxiety. Trying to fix the whole thing at once leads to overwhelm. The practice of peace is to take your attention, the fine brush of your awareness, and apply it with gentle precision to the small area of this moment. What is needed right now? A breath? A sip of water? A moment of stillness? By restoring your relationship to the present centimeter of time, you indirectly restore the whole mural of your life. The overwhelming picture heals from the inside out, through small, attentive actions. We explored, and this also. Let's deepen it with a phrase from the Persian poet Rumi, this too. It comes from his poem, The Guest House, where he speaks of welcoming all emotions as guests, even if they are a crowd of sorrows. When a difficult emotion arrives, instead of resistance, practice saying, this too. This too is welcome. This too belongs. This too has something to teach me. This too will pass. This too is the ultimate expression of acceptance. It does not differentiate between joy and sorrow, peace and anxiety. It sees all as valid inhabitants of the human experience. It is the open-door policy of the heart. When you can meet your own darkest feelings with a silent, inner, this too, you break the cycle of secondary suffering. The feeling may still hurt, but you are no longer at war with its existence. You have made room for it. And in that room, it can move, change, and eventually depart. Nature shows us a rhythm: the tide comes in, the tide goes out. The heart contracts, the heart expands. We, too, have a natural rhythm between engagement with the world and withdrawal into ourselves. Modern life often forces us into constant engagement, socially, professionally, digitally. We lose touch with the withdrawal phase, the essential time for processing, restoring, and just being. This leads to a chronic, low-grade sense of depletion and overwhelm, a feeling that life is happening to us. Peace requires honoring your own natural tide. It is not selfish to withdraw. It is necessary. It is the exhale after the inhale. It is the night after the day. Build moments of conscious withdrawal into your life, 5 minutes of silence upon waking, a walk without headphones, an evening without screens, a commitment to do nothing at all. In these spaces of withdrawal, the sediment of experience settles. You integrate. You remember who you are beneath the roles and reactions. You touch the peace that is your birthright. On the rugged coast of Cornwall, a marine biologist named Moira leads tours of the tide pools. She teaches people to be still and wait. When you first approach a pool, it seems still, maybe just a few barnacles. But if you sit quietly for 5-10 minutes, without moving, the pool comes to life. A hermit crab emerges from its shell. A tiny blenny fish darts from under a rock. An anemone slowly unfolds its tentacles. Most people, Moira says, come crashing into the pool with their eyes and their expectations. They want to see everything at once. They stir up the sand and scare all the life into hiding. They leave disappointed, saying there was nothing there. But the life was always there. It was just waiting for the disturbance to pass, for a presence that was calm enough to be trusted. Our inner world is like that tide pool. We crash into our own minds with agendas, judgments, and frantic searching for peace. We stir up the mental sand and then wonder why we can't see the quiet, beautiful life that resides beneath the surface. Peace is not something you grab. It is something you allow to reveal itself when you become still enough, patient enough, and accepting enough to stop being a disturbance in your own being. Even the pursuit of peace can become a source of suffering if we turn it into a personal achievement, a story of my enlightenment, my calm. This creates a subtle ego attachment. We then get frustrated when our peace is disturbed, as if something has been taken from us. True peace is not a personal possession. It is more like the weather, a condition that arises when certain elements are present. You cannot own the weather, you can only create a sheltered porch from which to enjoy it when it comes. Shift your goal from achieving peace to creating conditions conducive to peace. These conditions are internal: acceptance, present moment awareness, compassion, patience. Tend to these conditions like a gardener. Don't stare at the flower bud demanding it bloom. Water the roots, ensure sunlight, pull the weeds of resentment. The blooming, the feeling of peace, is a natural result, not a personal trophy. When it is not present, you simply go back to tending the conditions, without making it a story of personal failure. Acceptance makes you vulnerable. To accept that you are hurt, that you are afraid, that you don't know, requires dropping the armor of pretense. It means showing up to your own life without the story that you have it all together. This vulnerability is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. It is the courage to be seen, by yourself and by life, exactly as you are. A walled city seems strong, but it is isolated and stagnant. An open city is vulnerable to attack, but it is also open to trade, to new ideas, to connection, to life. When you accept and become vulnerable to your own experience, you open the gates of your inner city. Pain may enter, but so does love. Grief may visit, but so does joy. You become a living, breathing participant in the full spectrum of existence, not a fortified observer. The peace that comes from this is dynamic, rich, and real, the peace of being alive, not the peace of being safely numb. On the vast, frozen expanse of Lake Winnipeg, a captain named Nikolai pilots an iceboat, a sailboat on blades. Sailing on ice is an exercise in radical acceptance. You have no rudder in the water to grip. Control comes from balance, from the angle of the sail, from leaning your body weight, and from an intuitive feel for the frictionless surface. Nikolai told me, on water, you fight the current. On ice, there is no current to fight. There is only the wind and the sheer, flat fact of the ice. If you try to control it like water, you spin out. You have to surrender to the slipperiness. You use it. You become a translator between the wind and the ice. Your will is not about forcing direction, it's about shaping a collaboration. He took me out. The sensation was terrifying and exhilarating. The world became a silent, white blur. There was no resistance, only flow. The peace was not in stillness, but in a flawless, frictionless momentum. I realized that my usual mental state was like sailing on water, constantly gauging currents, fighting drag. The state of acceptance he demonstrated was like ice sailing. Acknowledging there is no traction for your old methods of control, and instead learning the art of balanced, collaborative movement with the forces that are actually present. Our mental resistance creates psychic drag. Acceptance is the realization that you are on ice, not water. You stop trying to rudder through. You learn the subtler art of balance, sail trim, and leaning into the direction you wish to go, using the very frictionless nature of reality to achieve a graceful, powerful momentum. We have walked through many landscapes, the pause, the breath, the body, the stories, the unmet expectations, the patience, the acceptance of others and self. Do not feel you must master them all. That would be another blueprint, another argument. These are not commandments, they are invitations. Try one. See how it feels. When you forget, which you will, return to one. Let your understanding be like a spiral staircase. You will pass the same windows, anger, fear, boredom, joy, again and again, but each time from a slightly higher vantage point, with a little more light, a little more perspective. The goal is not to reach the top and stay there. The goal is to become familiar with the climb, to find a rhythm in your step, to appreciate the view from every landing, and to be kind to yourself when you need to stop and rest. The peace is in the climbing itself, in the feeling of your hand on the rail, your breath in your chest, and the certainty that you are moving, learning, and alive. We spend our lives grasping for security, for love, for recognition, for certainty. We walk through the world with hands tightly clenched, afraid to drop what we hold, desperate to pick up more. This grasping is the physical manifestation of craving, of the argument that says, I need that to be okay. There is a profound peace in the empty hand. Not a hand that has been robbed, but a hand that has voluntarily opened. It is a hand ready to receive, yes, but also a hand that is unburdened, light, and free to touch the world with sensitivity rather than greed. Imagine walking through a forest with your fists clenched. You cannot feel the bark of the trees. You cannot catch the light falling through the leaves. You are armored against the world. Now, imagine opening your hands. The same air touches your palms. You can run your fingers over moss. You can catch a falling leaf. You are in communion. Practice opening the inner hand. When you feel yourself grasping at an outcome, clinging to a belief, clutching an identity, pause. Breathe into the palm of your hand, and consciously imagine it opening, finger by finger. Symbolically release what you are holding. You are not abandoning your values or desires. You are simply switching from a posture of desperate acquisition to one of attentive participation. The empty hand is not poor, it is rich with potential connection. In the rolling hills of the Cotswolds in England, craftsmen build dry stone walls, walls constructed without mortar. The builder, a man named Thomas, selects each stone by hand, turning it over, feeling its weight and shape. He doesn't force a stone into a space. He tries it, and if it doesn't fit, he puts it back in the pile, knowing its place will come. The wall rises through a patient, intuitive fitting together of irregular forms. The mistake, Thomas told me, wiping his hands on his trousers, is to fall in love with one stone and try to make it work where it doesn't belong. You waste energy, damage the stone, and weaken the wall. You have to love the wall more than any single stone. You have to be willing to put the stone down. The wall tells you what it needs. Your job is to listen and to have the humility to keep searching until you find the stone that fits this gap, now. Our lives are like building that wall. We often fall in love with a particular stone, a specific plan, a desired outcome, a vision of how a relationship should be. We try to force it into a gap in our lives where it simply doesn't fit, causing frustration and instability. Peace comes from loving the wall, the whole, beautiful, emerging structure of your life, more than any single element. It means having the humility to put the cherished stone down when it doesn't fit, trusting that its perfect place will reveal itself in time, and being open to the stone that actually fits the present need. The wall built this way is strong, resilient, and harmoniously part of the landscape. We end where we began, but with a shift in perception. You are not a noun, a fixed self navigating a fixed world. You are a verb. You are living. You are feeling. You are changing. You are a process, a happening, a momentary gathering of stardust and story, capable of awareness. When you see yourself as a noun, every change is a threat. When you see yourself as a verb, change is your nature. A wave does not suffer because it rises and falls, that is its verbness. A flame does not argue because it flickers, that is its expression. Your peace lies in aligning with your verbness. In allowing yourself to be a temporary, beautiful, ever-changing phenomenon. The pain is part of the verb. The joy is part of the verb. The confusion, the clarity, the boredom, the excitement, all are aspects of the living process that is you. You don't have to protect the noun. You can't. It is an illusion. You can only experience the verb. And in the full, open experience of the verb, of living, sensing, being, resides a peace that is dynamic, inclusive, and unshakable because it is not opposed to anything. It is the peace of being exactly what you are, alive, here, now. Tomorrow will come. The alarm will sound. The coffee may spill. The traffic will congeal. Someone will say the wrong thing. Your body will ache. A plan will dissolve. This is not a prediction of doom. It is a reminder of life's vibrant, unpredictable texture. And in each of those moments, the invitation will be renewed. The same invitation that has been whispering to you through all these stories, all these words. In the space between the event and your reaction, a doorway will appear. It is always appearing. It is the doorway of choice. The choice to argue, or to accept. To clench, or to soften. To grasp the old stone, or to search for the one that fits the wall now. You will not always walk through it. Some days, you will march right past it, following the well-worn path of habit. That's okay. Perfection is not the goal. Awareness is. The goal is simply to see the doorway more often. To recognize the pause. To feel the breath. To remember the Tokyo platform, the Kyoto gate, the Icelandic waterfall, the Venetian glass, the Faroese garden. To remember that you have a choice about how to meet this moment, the only moment you ever actually have. Imagine a child spinning top. When it spins perfectly true, with balanced momentum, it appears almost still. It hums with a quiet, centered vibration. It is at peace, not because the world around it is still, but because it has found its own stable axis amidst the motion. Our minds are like that top. Our thoughts and emotions are the spin, sometimes fast and wobbly, sometimes slow and listing. The practices we've explored, the pause, the breath, acceptance, patience, are not about stopping the spin. They are about finding your axis. Your axis is the silent, aware presence that witnesses the spin without being thrown off balance by it. It is the part of you that can notice the anxiety without becoming the anxiety. It is the still center in the storm of thought. You find this axis by returning, again and again, to what is real and present, the sensation of the body, the rhythm of the breath, the fact of the ground beneath you. Each return is a gentle nudge that brings the top back towards true. You will wobble. You will list. The spin will sometimes seem chaotic. This is not failure. It is physics. It is life. Your task is not to achieve perpetual, motionless stillness. Your task is to know your axis so well that no matter how wild the spin, you know how to return to center. And in that returning, you find the humming, vibrant piece of a thing in motion, yet perfectly balanced. You have journeyed far in this shared space of words and silence. From Santorini to Svalbard, from Seoul to the Amazon, we have gathered images and insights, not as prescriptions, but as mirrors, as maps drawn in the sand, easily washed away but pointing toward a terrain you already know. Carry from this not a list of techniques, but a feeling tone. The feeling tone of a softening in the chest. The feeling tone of a breath that completes itself. The feeling tone of pausing before the honk of the horn. Take this tone with you into your next hour, your next day. When life does not go your way, which it will, you don't have to remember everything. Just remember one thing, you have a choice in how you meet this. You can meet it with an argument, and feel the familiar fire of suffering ignite. Or you can meet it with a quiet, internal bow. A bow that says, "This is what is. I see you." In that bow, in that acceptance, the fire has no kindling. It may smolder, but it will not blaze. And in the space where the blaze was supposed to be, you will feel a breeze. A cool, quiet, undeniable breeze of peace. It was there all along. It is here now. It is the peace of no longer being at war with the present moment. It is the peace of the empty hand, the open gate, the balanced top, the verb that you are. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the courage to look inward and to choose peace, moment by moment by moment. Rest now. The world will wait. And when you rejoin it, may you meet it with a softer gaze, a lighter step, and a heart that knows its own unshakable axis. Welcome home.